Welcome back to Smart Stock Sam. There's big news on this stock recently, and market is reacting as expected. But let's slow down and focus on the facts and see how they are shaping the narrative. I'll cover what's real, what's noise, and what it could mean next. For quick updates like this, subscribe and tap the bell to catch every market move on time. All right, here we go. Stop everything. In less than 8 hours, the doors to the old financial system were supposed to swing wide open. But Wall Street just hit the pause button. Today is January 15th, 2026. And as you watch this, the headlines are screaming that the Clarity Act, the bill that would officially transform Bitcoin into the cornerstone of the American economy, has been postponed. But here's the shocking part. While the mainstream media is calling this a setback, the smartest money in the world is doing the exact opposite. They aren't selling the news. They are loading up for a final explosion. Just days ago, a key director made his first open market purchase in 4 years, and Michael Saylor just pulled off a maneuver that rendered an $8.8 billion Wall Street death trap completely useless. In this video, we are breaking down the most explosive and confusing week in MSTR history. Why did the Senate really delay Clarity Act? How did MicroStrategy survive a liquidity kill shot on January 8th? And most importantly, with Bitcoin staring down the barrel of $100,000 right now, is this delay the last fake out before the greatest short squeeze of the decade? If you are holding even a single share of MSTR, or if you've been waiting on the sidelines for a perfect entry, the next few minutes will determine your strategy for the rest of 2026. The polls are delayed, the chart is screaming, and the Saylor Premium is back with a vengeance. Let's dive into the timeline. To understand why today's price action is so resilient, we have to look back at how this month started. On January 2nd, the mood was funeral-like. MSTR hit a 52-week low of $149.75. The bears were out in full force, smelling blood in the water. The big fear? The MSI index exclusion. Wall Street analysts were shouting from the rooftops that MSTR would be kicked out of the major global indexes. If that had happened, passive funds would have been legally forced to dump an estimated $8.8 billion worth of stock onto the market in a single afternoon. It was designed to be a liquidity kill shot, a way to force Michael Saylor into a corner. But then, on January 8th, the tide turned in a way no one expected. In a shock decision, MSCA decided not to exclude digital asset treasury companies. The overhang vanished overnight. This wasn't just a win. It was a total embarrassment for the short sellers who had bet the house on a forced liquidation that never came. This created a rock-solid floor at $150. If you didn't buy that dip, you missed the foundation of this rally. But the real fire was set just 3 days ago. On Monday, January 12th, Michael Saylor reminded the world why he is the final boss of Bitcoin. While the market was still reeling from the MSTR news, MicroStrategy dropped a bombshell SEC filing. They didn't just buy a little, they bought 13,627 Bitcoin at an average price of over $91,000. Think about that. MicroStrategy now owns nearly 3.5% of all Bitcoin that will ever exist. But here is the detail the talking heads on CNBC completely missed. That same day, director Carl Rickardson stepped into the open market and bought 5,000 shares with his own cash. Why is this significant? Because it is his first open market buy since the 2022 crypto winter. Insiders sell for a million reasons, like tax planning, buying a house, or estate management. But they only buy for one reason. They believe the price is going significantly higher. The insiders knew the Clarity Act news was coming. They knew the MSCI threat was dead. They were front-running the very volatility we are seeing today. By January 13th and 14th, the Saylor flywheel moved into high gear. This is the part of the MSTR story that continues to confuse the bears. They see the stock trading at a premium to its Bitcoin holdings and they scream overvalued. They are fundamentally wrong. MSTR is no longer just a Bitcoin proxy. It has evolved into a digital credit machine. By issuing low-interest debt to buy a high-appreciating asset like Bitcoin, Saylor is creating yield per share that doesn't exist anywhere else in the equity markets. As Bitcoin moved back toward $97,000 yesterday, the stock surged over 20% in a single week. We saw the price break through the $170 resistance level like it wasn't even there. We are witnessing a massive shift in institutional sentiment. The banks that called this a Ponzi in 2024 are now the ones writing the research papers on why every S&P 500 company needs a digital treasury. The FOMO has officially moved from the retail boards to the corporate boardrooms. That brings us to right now, January 15th, the day the world was waiting for the Clarity Act markup. As of this morning, the news has already broken. The Senate committee markup has been postponed till last week of the January for the average investor. This looks like a reason to panic. But for MSTR holders, you need to look at the hidden signals. Look at the Bitcoin price action on your screen right now. Despite the delay, it is ranging steadily between $96,000 and $97,000. It's not crashing, it's teasing us. The psychological barrier of $100,000 is the most significant price level in the history of money. When Bitcoin crosses six figures, it's not just a price target, it's a global Veblen good moment, an asset that becomes more desirable as the price goes up. For MicroStrategy, $100,000 Bitcoin means their treasury is worth over $68 billion. But because of the Saylor Premium, MSTR's market cap will likely expand much faster than the underlying Bitcoin. The delay of the Clarity Act isn't a cancellation, it's a period of final accumulation. We're looking at a potential massive rally the moment that vote finally goes through later this month. Let's look at the technicals before we wrap up. We've seen a perfect cup and handle formation building since the January 2nd bottom at $149. We are just close to the 50-day moving average. Right now, we are testing the $190 resistance. If we can close above $190 in coming days with large volume, even with the postponement news, it proves the bears have lost control. The next stop is the $215 gap. However, a word of caution. MSTR is a high volatility beast. With the Clarity Act facing a temporary delay, the bears will try to use this 2-week window to drive the price back down to the $165 support level to shake out the weak hands. But given the insider buying we saw on the 12th, I believe the smart money already knows the outcome. We are exiting the survival phase of MicroStrategy and entering the dominance phase. The company survived the index exclusion scare. They've added $1 billion in Bitcoin at the start of this breakout, and the legal environment is finally turning in their favor. I'm watching the $190 level closely. If we break that, the short sellers who haven't covered yet are going to get incinerated. The delay is the trap. Don't fall for it. What's your price target for MSTR when Bitcoin finally hits $100,000? Drop it in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. All right, that's the update. If you want more quick fact-based insight like this, subscribe and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next update on Smart Stock Sam.